Now, as an artist animator, in conversation with many other artists and animators, can you help us get a sense of how this technology that you work most closely with works and might better be understood by people such as myself who are visual thinkers? And also, as animators, we like to tell stories. We want to know what this looks like, this new technology, what it might feel like.
Yeah, I mean, supercontinuum provides a new spectrum of wavelengths, so it's more light that you wouldn't otherwise have. But our eyes are only able to see a certain range of wavelengths, and the supercontinuum kind of passes through that, and also much more. So it's it's, I guess, hard to know how to convey the supercontinuum immediately through sensory, because it's providing all of the colors and much more. But we know that it's producing the other colors through other technologies that we have. So other detectors, other sort of optical apparatuses that we have. But it's also, it's requiring a lot of energy to make supercontinuum. It requires very intense pulses in an optical fiber to achieve its processes. So there's a lot of heat. And actually, when we do a lot of troubleshooting on our systems, we actually monitor where the heat is happening, because that's usually an indication that that's where something's going wrong. And a lot of the light is spilling out and then just being absorbed and heating things up. But in terms of sort of going back to the question, how do we convey what it is to the artist or to the rest of the world? I find that very difficult to answer because it takes even an expert, a specialized expert, a very long time to really get it. But I guess what we can do is show the physical result. We've got a fiber and it's allowing processes to happen inside it, where supercontinuum is evolving along its length, and then there are colors that are changing. And these can look quite sort of attractive and interesting. And for sure there could be interesting patterns made from this, because it is a fiber, it's a line, and you can wind it into a spiral in various shapes and figures.
Yeah. You described earlier a series of events that happened, or almost, it seemed to me, the growth of the
supercontinuum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you describe that again?
So it's we have a pulse that's very far into the infrared, so we can't see it, and it's quite intense. And that pulse has noise. So if you imagine a bell curve is the shape of the pulse, sort of time, and then it's propagating along the fiber. And then as that pulse is generated, there is also quantum noise, which sort of means that the pulse has a bit of jaggedness on the surface. And then it starts going through the material, and it is so intense because it is going through a fiber that has a pattern of photonic crystal that are forcing the light to be in a very small cross-sectional area. And so because this light is so intense, it starts changing the properties of the material. And what's happening is that normally a pulse would just sort of spread out with time. But here what's happening is that there are also self-focusing mechanisms that bring it back together, because it is a non-linear process that the intensity of the pulse is causing. And then when you have this forest of noise on top of that, each of these little blips becomes a self-focused point, and you end up having a forest. And then these forests themselves become very spiky. And these are called solitons, these little spikes. And then these solitons start being so intense that they are having to slow themselves down or lose energy, because they're actually starting to go faster than the speed of light c over n, the refractive index. It's kind of a law of nature that it's kind of trying to violate, but it's not allowed to. So then it starts shedding its excess energy through Cherenkov radiation. It's a process where it's basically just trying to keep within the laws of physics. And so it's this soliton that's very spiky, many solitons, and it's losing energy with this Cherenkov radiation, And then the soliton is forming a potential well through refractive index change that it itself is causing, and it traps the Cherenkov radiation. And then the soliton will start undergoing a self-rounded redshift, where it is basically vibrating the glass, which is causing it to lose energy, so its wavelength is then shifting. And as it does so, it is causing the dispersive wave caused by this Cherenkov radiation to itself be dragged into bluer wavelengths as the soliton undergoes a redshift. So they're sort of coupled together through this gravitational-like refractive index potential, and then this process goes until the soliton starts running out of its own energy, and then it dies, and then it sort of deposits the dispersive wave. But they actually form a continuum, and there's a whole range of wavelengths, and this is the supercontinuum process. Yes.
That's it. That's what I wanted to hear. That's a real story with lots of characters, with names I'll need to investigate further.
Yeah.
But it's clearly a complex process.
It's very complex.
But you've explained it very clearly.
Actually, I've been having when I've been having trouble sleeping while I've dealt with the jet lag and so on, I've had in my mind this comic series that I wanted to write called The Solitudes, and I guess I would have to draw them up. But it's basically like, it's very clear to see characters out of little pulses that do a lot of strange things.
Yeah. Well, you just brought them to life in my mind, just listening to you.
Good. I'm
Great. Thank you.
Sure.